Welcome to 5 Minutes with the Newsroom. I'm Lillian Boyd, assistant editor and reporter, and I'm joined by reporter Mary Glen Hatcher. Today we're going to talk about electric vehicles. So the EV market is on the rise. It's been on the rise even before we've seen these gas prices increase. The market saw about a 28% annual growth between 2015 and 2020 in the US. Now globally, the market is projected to reach over $823 billion by 2030, and that's according to Allied Market Research.
Yeah, but the infrastructure to support EVs remains spotty in some parts of the country, and that's held true for most of the EV drivers that we've spoken to here in southern Arizona.
Yeah, it's kind of like that saying, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Do we buy these electric vehicles and then expect the charging stations to come, or do we install these EV stations and then expect people to start buying electric vehicles? So today, Mary Glen and I are going to give an overview of where our region is at in terms of electric vehicle infrastructure. Mary Glen, the last few months you've done some reporting on local EV stations. What does Green Valley and Sarita offer in terms of charging?
So according to PlugShare, which is a community-based map of EV charging stations, there are more than 230 charging stations in the Metro Tucson area, but if you drive down South I-19, you'll only find a handful. But there have been some promising movements on this front. A new Level 2 charger was actually just installed in Madeira Plaza, and that's off of White House Canyon Road. And the Jim Click Ford dealership here in Green Valley just opened up the first DC fast charge station between Tucson and Nogales. And Tesla, which recently opened a new charging station in Marana, is close to opening a new supercharger in Santa Ana, Sonora, which is just south of the border. I also know that you have spoken to Green Valley Recreation about EV chargers. What have they said?
Yeah, so GVR first reached out to Tucson Electric Power last summer. They were hoping to learn more about their incentives program. So TEP's acting agent company Clear Result has since consulted with GVR on those incentives. Right now we know the approved project would cost about $18,000, but $14,000 of that would be covered under this TEP incentive program, so that's a great deal for GVR. And that covers the ports themselves and installation. So this project includes 2 slow charging ports or trickle chargers, which are significantly cheaper. They're up to about $4,000 each. Fast charging, that would be between $35,000 and $40,000 per port. So while trickle chargers can take up to 8 hours to fully charge a vehicle, a faster charger can take less than half an hour. So according to Clear Result, the faster chargers qualify for higher incentives of up to $40,000 per port, or a maximum of $80,000 for a 2-port project. The agency requires a minimum of 2 fast chargers to be installed with their incentives program, which would bring the equipment costs to about $75,000 before construction costs. So they're exploring those options right now. In the future, GVR may need to decide whether they want fast chargers or more slow chargers. But that requires a whole project approval process on both GVR and TEP's end, and then a whole bidding process. So for now we know these 2 slow trickle chargers are approved, and they're looking at installing those near the administrative offices or the facilities management building. And those are located off of Calle de las Casitas.
Yeah, and it's important to note that Arizona actually ranks among the top 10 states in the country for the most registered electric vehicles, so it's reasonable to expect that this trend of more EV infrastructure will continue.
Oh yeah, good to know. Thanks for joining us in 5 Minutes with the Newsroom. See you next time.